race winner Takuma Sato. Taku, I've seen a lot of things in my career. You have too. 6 days ago, you know what happened?
Yes.
The week's been a little difficult.
Yes.
I saw you go to last place in this race. Somehow here you are.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's not the preferred path, but we'll take it.
Thank you. Yes. Absolutely. I mean, first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for all of you in this room, because you saw what happened last week, and there's a lot of opinion for sure. I take it, but mostly you guys supported me, and I can't thank enough. Or as a pure journalism, is find a fact and find out what was it. You know, just don't judge just one fact. But obviously, after that, it was a significant support. All of you come here. The fans came close to me this distance. Get in there, you know, hold on, and everyone would support it. And like I said on the podium, that with Mike, when we go around the drivers' parade, I think generally speaking, I think St. Louis, we have so much enthusiastic fans. You know, we've seen it last few seasons, but this year, the cheering, screaming my names and so much, and I just can't find a word that thank you to all the support. So the win is always a special, particularly like you said, after the difficult circumstance, come here, strong qualifying, which I'm really proud of the team. A difficult start, I was being sandwiched and then gone backwards. It wasn't particularly good getaway for the first stint, but just head down, do our job, believe in ourselves, and taking the moment for the chance to come back. And we came back, and we made a lot of a good pace over the next two stints, and stretched the fuel what we needed, and yeah, yellow came in, and of course some lucks. We made it be happen, but I think this is a whole effort from the team, completely behind me, supported, and so happy to bring the car to the win for them. I'm very, very happy.
And this last restart, you had Tony Kanaan behind you, and I'm not sure which driver was more determined. The two of you are probably 1 and 1A for the season.
Absolutely. Obviously, to be an AJ Foyt driver, very, very privileged to leading them, actually. But I like 14 car. I like TK a lot. But as everybody knows, he's one of the toughest competitors. So I have to make sure don't give any space or showing any mistakes. So the last lead start, perhaps it was very slow, but consistent speed, obviously, and I had to take all the advantage just to control the pack. And then after that, we just drive away beautifully, I would say. But then, as one of the excitement for the racing, it was a tire degradation, and Tony and I had sort of similar difficulty for the last 20 laps, where Ed seems to be hooking up very, very good speed. So I'm sure that the night of the show made it very, very excited for us. It was tough, especially for the last 5 laps. But again, you know, I can't throw this away, especially for the team, fans, sponsor waited with very, very, very tough circumstance, and I just wanted to bring the car home, which we did, and very, very happy.
Aside from the Indianapolis 500, the most gratifying one of your career?
I'm sure, yes. I mean, Paul to win for this year, the Barber, was just a beautiful day for sure. You know, one of the significance is just the domination of the weekend is always great credit for the team and satisfaction. But this win is so special, and like you said, without the Indy 500, which is obviously nothing like it, but this is just so emotionally gave me an unbelievable boost, and for sure, some of the difficulty now is you can have a little bit confident with it. Next 2 races, it's going to be a very exciting one. For sure, the championship will be very exciting, and hopefully I can claim a few positions up for towards the end of the season.
Questions? And by the way, we're heading to Portland, where Takuma won last year.
Takuma, also 2 questions for you. I don't want to bother you with this Pocono situation, but just can you give some information about the car? Was it a repairable car, or was it a brand new car for this race? after Pocono?
Oh, after Pocono?
Yeah, I mean, was the car repairable?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, car's repairable. Yeah. There's obviously some damage, but monocoque was fine. The car we used at the Pocono this weekend is a different car.
Yes.
So everything is fine, and I think that car is going to repair and put in for the next year's new, windscreen and halos and new driver system, protection system. So everything should be ready.
Okay. And then also during the coverage of the race, the camera shows some tires which were blistering. How much was the tire wear for you?
Like I said, I think first of all, the most importantly, the fireman is always bring the tire for the safety, number one. And we never seen anything, the concerning for the tires in terms of the safety, so which is a great tire. But of course, they try to be best all the time, and they brought the new softer compound on the left-hand side. Now, of course, under the circumstances, unfortunately, they grained them. But that's only just a performance issue, and making race very, very excited. Some of the team get on really well, some it couldn't, and it was a very narrow sweet spot for sure, and not easy tire for everyone. And I had some difficulty too, but at the end of the day, I think that's what one of the crosses finish again. That's made the IndyCar very, very attractive. So thank you for the fireman.
That was a real blast from the past podium up there. Two of the oldest drivers in the series, and a 38-year-old Ed Carpenter who looks like he's about 48.
I think three of us is editing, 120 years old for sure.
Yeah. But just to show the old guys can still gas it around here.
I think that's the beauty of this sport with mud racing. If you're talking about just the only physical terms, might not be able to do that. But with a combination with experience and the team behind it, or the racecraft and all the things, I think it's just age is sometimes something, but it is not everything. And I think we can still perform like this. Today was a great day for three of us, and three of us is very happy.
You said something about cars being retrofitted for the new driver protection system. Have you been able to sit in a car with a driver protection system? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, no, I haven't. My teammate Graham went to the Rahal factory, and he sat, and also he did try a lot of emergency excursions, all the things, and a very positive feeling, very positive. Obviously, once again, the safety is the first thing has to come. So we all very excited with the new thing. Now, of course, all over the world, the Halo is a standard. Now, in IndyCar, it's going to take it beyond of that. We have a windscreen system, which I don't know yet how it's going to work out. There's a few concerns, so the wet situations, and when a car got upside down, how are we going to do that? If the situation like massive shunt and drivers congestion, how are we going to get it out? But I'm confident all the safety team will do a lot of exercise, and first of all, I think they protect firstly for anything from outside of debris. So I think it's a fantastic news, and we're all excited about it, and hopefully we can do a great test, and there is no problem or smooth, how can I say, branding into the new season. That's what we hope.
Were these restarts as crazy from the cockpit as they appeared to us?
Second.
I said, were these restarts as crazy
right.
as they look to us?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but earlier in the race, wasn't there like a real close battle where it was like you on one side, Hunter Ray, and Rossi was pretty close? Were you aware of that? Were you sitting there going, I've seen this movie before?
Yeah, there's such an exciting long night, actually, that I think a track preparation, as well as the conditions, give us a different taste. And I think from first stint to the last stint, you can see the pace is different, that the guys who are shining is different, and strategy works, whatever you call it. But my car balance was not necessarily great on the first two stints, but we build it better and better all the time. So in the end, I got a great tools, and big thank you to the team made this happen. But also, Ryan, and we got a close racing today again, and yeah, one stage he looked like a little bit struggling. At that time, I was very strong pace, so yeah, I think it was just generally speaking, it was a good race.
Earlier, Josef said your comeback this week is kind of professional sports. He said it was sometimes you're a hero, then you're a zero, and then you're a hero again. This week, your team backed you. They put out a statement, and then you backed them. Is that, how gratifying is that?
It is just unbelievable support from the team. I'm so happy and so proud to be part of Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing. Now, of course, why team did that? Somebody said they'd never seen that team did that kind of statement, but the moment we had the last week, it was very difficult to judge, and a lot of people judged from only TV one angle, and it looks like I turned into the Alex, which wasn't true, but nobody wasn't sure, and they judged only just one little fact. After that, the team got obviously telemetry, dead logging system, and onboard footage. They showed very clear evidence I wasn't to move. I held my line, I drove straight. Now that's not necessarily doing right, because end of the day, we had accident, whatever the reason. And as I said, I feel sorry for that. I approach it for the situation that what happened, and especially the Alex that involving for the championship, the possibility. However, there was a scene, and actually very clear that other drivers moved up. As a consequence, we had an accident. Now I think we can all learn from that. We try to give each other more space. Once you're side by side or three wide, you can't just depart your lane. That's the bottom line. Now, of course, I could have probably given more space and move into the right. Perhaps that I should have done. But as that racing, I thought that was correct, going to the straight, and that's what happened. Which just later, a lot of people analyzed from Alex on board and Humphrey's, Ryan's on board, my on board. And there was a very clear evidence that people can see what happened in the world.
Nice to be here.
I know it's been a difficult season, but strong run here for the 14 car, and has to be gratifying. I think it's your first podium finish in 2 years, and
That's a long time. I told the boys on the cool down lap that I probably remember when I had to stop my car. But yeah, great result for us. Great weekend. Overcoming a lot of adversities throughout the year. We've been hearing a lot of things, and good things and bad things, some support, some people thinking we shouldn't be doing this, and this is a great night for us. It paid off. I mean, when I joined AJ Foyt Racing, it was to make this thing better, and we've been struggling quite a bit. So this is a great night for us. The boys did a great job, and it proves it's making us stronger, definitely. And a result like this, it's a huge boost for everybody. So happy.
I would think that last restart, you had a pretty good sniff at the lead and pretty excited.
Yeah, Sato got around me on the restart. I think when he took off, obviously he knew I was behind, and people know how I restart, so he got a little bit of an edge. And then after that, I had to measure and decide what I wanted it to do. Do I need it to attack? Did I have anything to attack, or if I was going to keep it in the podium, which it's a great result for us, So once he took off and opened a little bit of a lead, I said, you know what, I'm just going to sit here and see what's going to happen. I was going to wait for him to hit traffic, and unfortunately, when we all hit traffic, then I got in trouble. I got a little loose, and Ed got me. So it was one of those things. I think we were strong. We had a great strategy. The Chevy in the fuel mileage, we had a very, very good fuel mileage that actually got us to the point that we got lucky with that yellow. So once we had the track position, the car was fast, and we were able to perform.
And I take it that was fun.
It's always fun when you finish in the podium, So for sure, and it was a great race. I think first 50 laps, think it was a little boring, but after that it got extremely exciting. So yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Questions for Tony?
Tony, too, again.
Of course.
Yeah, sorry for that. I think after qualifying yesterday, you were quoted to say that you had troubles or struggling with oversteer. How was the car in the race?
Yeah, well, qualifying yesterday was kind of weird, right? We had a bunch of oil dry at the track, and the way we qualify nowadays is by championship points. So I was the fourth car out, so we got loose. The car wasn't very good, so it was very frustrating. But then in the night session, the car was pretty decent, so I was pretty happy. But I knew the track position was going to be everything. So we, I had a pretty good start. We had 6 cars on the start. We put ourselves in the top 13. I said, all right, well, let's start racing from now on. And obviously, we got a break, and once we got to the front, we were pretty strong.
And the second question, maybe I'm wrong, but concerning my lap shot, I have the impression your cars came really to life concerning speed very late, lap 175 or 180. What was the race before, in the beginning? You were struggling? Was it speed-wise?
We race when it counts.
Okay.
Why you wouldn't waste your breath when it doesn't count anything? 20 to go, then we go. So.
Thank you.
We bring in also Josef Newgarden from Team Penske, the series point leader, and second place finisher Ed Carpenter of Ed Carpenter Racing. Bruce?
Tony, there's been a lot of changes over the off-season with Scott Harner coming in to kind of help Larry run the organization. Is this really kind of the first sign of a lot of that work finally coming together for the team?
Yeah, I mean, things are not, I think Scott came in late February or March, so things happening, they take time, but we do have a great organization. I think Larry, all credit to him. That is nothing that we haven't asked Larry to do that he hasn't done for us. So it's on us. It's on me, it's on my engineer, it's on Harner, it's on the entire team. ABC had provided us every single tool with the sponsorship for us to perform, and we haven't done it. So slowly we turn it around. We brought Don Holliday back, which is a guy that my first year here in America in '96, he was engineering myself at Tasman. He came in to do some damage control, and it's been great. So yes, it was a good result. Obviously let's not get ahead of the game here. We still have 2 races to go, and we still have a lot of work to do, but I'll take it, I'll enjoy it tonight, and we'll go back to work tomorrow.
Any further questions for Tony, and we'll dismiss him. One more for Tony, and then we'll move on to the other 2.
What year was that with Tasman?
96.
It's a long time ago.
I'm 32. You want to see my Brazilian passport?
Thanks, Tony. We'll bring in Ed and Joseph. Congratulations, Tony. Ed, it looks like the oval finishes we've seen from you so many times. I would expect that your last oval race of the season was pretty enjoyable there at the end.
Yeah, it could have been a little better if we just had a little bit longer straightaway or another lap, but it was nice to finish on a high note, especially after the day we had yesterday. We were really bad yesterday, and I really wasn't comfortable, and we're having a hard time figuring out how to get the car to work, and the guys did a really good job keeping their head down and staying focused and dealing with my whining all day yesterday and overnight, but they delivered today, and really felt like we had a good car the whole race. And they asked me pretty early on, what I needed, and I was just like, we really just need track position. I think we have good pace to run with anybody, and fortunately we caught a couple breaks with the yellows and put us in a good position, and then we were able to almost close it out.
You cleared Tony with 2 laps to go. Did you really think you had a shot, or was it just give it the best you got?
I had every intentions of driving for the win. It's a difficult place to pass, but we were really good on long runs, and they were coming back to us. So I do think another lap or even another corner we probably could have had him, but there wasn't enough time. That's the race. So happy with second.
Questions real quick for Tony or for Ed?
That was nice.
Ed, as a team owner, you had to go down to 5th place today to get to a Penske, Ganassi, or an Andretti. What's that tell you about your team's performance and the series?
Well, first off, this series is unbelievably competitive. You know, the Penske guys have won every oval race up to this point, but it's just because of the quality of drivers they have and their quality organization. But it could have easily not been that streak up to this point. You know, you just have to miss it. Like earlier, I said we were terrible yesterday. It's not like we were that far off, but we were just enough off that it makes you feel terrible in this series because the competition level is so high. And you know, I think that's what you saw tonight. And you have a caution at the right time that mixes the field up, and it can totally reset things at any given moment. So it's rewarding to be up front. It's nice to finish my year off on a good note. It's nice to be racing up front with this guy again. It had been a while, so I'll enjoy it and wait till May to try to go fight for another win.
How much does this help you going into the off season for you and your sponsorship hunts and stuff like that? Just a good momentum builder?
It helps my psyche, I think, more than anything. Heather can tell you I wasn't very happy last night, but certainly tonight will be a lot better. And you know, it's the hardest part now is just waiting to go again. But you know, we've got a resilient bunch, and like I said earlier, just proud of the effort and proud of them sticking with me and delivering when it counted.
How much longer do you think you would have had to go before you been able to catch Takuma? And I have a follow-up to that.
I mean, I think if we would have gone to turn one, I probably would have gotten by, to be honest.
And also, you have an Ed Carpenter Racing alumni member sitting next to you. He's battling for a championship. To just kind of see the progression he's made, the fact you're still up there trying to, you know, winning races and competing for race wins. What does that kind of say for everything you've put together?
You know, I think we were up getting ready for the podium, and Tony made a really mean comment and said, "Hey, we're all 40 years old up here." I'm like, "Hey, I'm 38. Like, I'm a legit 38. I don't really know how old you are. I don't know how old Takuma is. Everyone lies about their age, but I am a legit, honest to God, 38 years old, March 3rd, 1981. And, you know, working with Josef when we were together and working with Spencer and Ed and all these children that were just starting racing when I was already in IndyCars, it keeps me young, even though I'm going gray and losing my hair and everything else. It keeps me young. I love racing with these guys, and you know, Josef and I are still very close and good friends from our time together. So it's just fun to be in the mix with them again.
And we appreciate the show you put on. Shows you can still do it.
Yeah, it's good to know.
We bring in Josef Newgarden. Thanks, Josef, for being patient. I know this was a kind of
You should have really let him go first because he'd been sitting here.
I know.
And Tony talks a long time.
Understand. Age before beauty.
Thanks, Dad. Love you too.
Actually,
See you home.
It's past your bedtime.
Sorry, Mom.
You gotta clean up your room.
Brothers, sisters, good seeing you.
You're still as actors.
Actually, it may have worked out a little bit to give you a little time to think about this one. Perspective-wise, you gained on your championship tonight. You're more points ahead of your nearest competitor, and your nearest competitor now is a teammate. Big picture-wise, a good end to the race and to the day, but maybe not what you had kind of hoped for 20 minutes before the checkered flag.
Well, I'm really proud of our group. I thought they did a great job tonight. You know, we actually missed a bit on the long run. I would say, you know, our setup didn't favor the tires for the long run, which we didn't forecast perfectly. I don't put that on anyone. It's just sometimes you didn't gather enough data. You know, I really thought we were in the right window last night, and we learned tonight we weren't for the longevity of tire life. And you know, even with that, the team did a typical fantastic job of great calls, good pit stops, and just put us in a position to keep fighting and scoring great points. And that's what they've done all year. So, you know, I've been really lucky to have a unit behind me that I think is the best on pit lane. And so I've got that advantage in my pocket, as I think I've got the best of the best around me. And they showed it tonight. You know, they put me in a good position, and we still come out of here with some respectable points. You know, could have been worse, but you know, it is what it is at this point, and it's not too bad. So we've got something to fight with now, I think, for the last 2 rounds.
With all due respect to the other races we've seen this season, these restarts were some of the most exciting of the season. Talk about it from your perspective.
Yeah, it's hair raising just because, you know, there's not a lot of lane usage here. You know, if you take a lot of risk, you can try and, you know, come up a lane and a half for a couple laps there. But it's risky. You know, this track just breeds risk because of the way the marbles accumulate and the way the lanes are used. It's not a place like Iowa where, you know, you have a clear 2 or 3 lane track and it's consistently that way. It's just not that way here, which I think brought a lot of excitement. I think that's what you're referencing. You know, it just mixed it up, made it difficult. People were sliding all over the place. The track got really slick, and so it moved people around a lot on those restarts, and I hope the fans like that. It was difficult inside the race car, but maybe it was more exciting to watch.
Certainly was. Questions?
3 straight races with an event. Towards the end, do you kind of feel like you're playing with house money as it heads into the final 2 races with your championship?
Well, I mean, I don't think we can feel too confident or secure where we're at. I really don't. You know, I think we're in a good spot, without a doubt. I mean, it would be silly to not recognize it's a good position, but it's not, you know, it's not something that you can just sit back and rest on. It's going to be, you know, tough the last 2 rounds. You know, I wish we could have gotten a little bit more here the last 3 races, really. You know, for sure, Mid-Ohio, you know, you look at that and you say, okay, it was what it was, but, you know, if I would have done a better job there, that would have helped. And then, you know, Pocono could have been a little better, and then here could have definitely been a little better. So we've not had a smooth last 3 races. We got to clean that up now for the final 2, but I think we're in a good position, but we can't do anything different than what we've been doing all year. We've just got to keep sort of attacking, you know, attacking with some caution, I think.
And now that second place is Simon, you know the quality of equipment he's got because you have the same type of equipment. I mean, how much does that kind of play on your mind a little bit to know how tough Simon's going to be in the final 2 races?
Yeah, I don't know if it helps or hurts. I mean, you know, I know what he's doing all the time, and vice versa. I mean, we're a unit that works together, him, Power, and myself. So, yeah, it's kind of it's a dynamic I know very well. So I got to think that's going to be a positive, but they're all going to be tough. You know, Simon's always difficult. He's a very strong driver, but you know, when you look at the whole picture, I mean, Rossi is still a fantastic driver that's tough to beat, and same thing with Dixon. You know, I don't think it's anywhere from over. Portland could flip this thing on its lid with 100 points at Laguna, so it's going to be down to the wire. You know, we're not anywhere from a blowout here, so yeah, it's. Just got to keep a finger on the pulse.
And can you take us through that final lap and what happened there between you and Santino at the end, just from your perspective?
Well, you know, I already gave 2 cents on NBC, and I'll be disappointed if people think I'm a whiner after giving my assessment. Rarely do I ever try and put someone in their place when I think they need to be put in their place. And I think Santino needed to learn a lesson. Unfortunately, most people, and this is no disrespect to fans or anyone, most people will not understand what he did wrong in that final corner. They've never driven an IndyCar. They don't know the subtleties of it. I think what he did was very risky, and he needs to learn from it. I told him that, and you know, it's really a racer's thing. So hopefully he gets that. I think when you go to bigger ovals, it's an even bigger potential problem. So yeah, like I said, I gave an assessment on NBC, and you know, that's how I felt about it.
I don't want to rehash that part of it, but when you got going again, you're going down the front straightaway, did you know all those cars were not for position? Were you thinking, oh crap, this is going to be even worse than I thought? Because it wound up being not as bad as probably you may have.
I was happy I wasn't in the fence, to be honest with you. I was surprised I wasn't in the fence. The engine was still going. I wasn't in the wall. Like, I was trying to get it out of Annie stall. I'm like, thank goodness. The thing's like, I'm kind of straight. And then I got turned. I was like, I can't believe we're still going here. I couldn't believe it. I thought we were going to be in the fence. So, yeah, I had no idea about the other cars. I was trying to stay out of people's way, which is what you need to do. I was trying to keep my car straight and consistent and just get across the line. But I just felt fortunate that the engine was still fired. it didn't turn into a bigger disaster. I still don't know how it didn't turn into a bigger disaster than it did, but fortunately it did.
Right here with Bruce.
I know that you don't really pay much attention to anybody else other than your own car, your own team, but Takuma's kind of been a punching bag the last week since Pocono, and for a guy to come out and win the very next race, I mean, what does that say about the guy? It's, it's kind of pretty impressive that he was able to bounce back like that.
Literally the definition of professional sports. Hero, maybe 1 minute, zero the next, hero again. I mean, that's just how it goes. Everyone thought Takuma was the worst thing on the planet of Earth leaving Pocono. Then they kind of all were like, oh, it wasn't his fault, and now he's probably a hero again. And, next week he could be a loser one more time. No one knows. I mean, it's just, you live day by day in the sport. It's every day you're judged. And, this is a great day for him. Obviously, his team puts in all these teams put in a lot of work. So I'm sure it's very gratifying for those guys. And really everyone in front of us did a great job. I mean, even Santino had a great race. It's all these guys did a really nice job. So I'm sure for Sato and his crew, they're going to be pretty happy about it. I wish it was us, but it's hard not to feel happy for everybody because there's a lot of work that goes into this paddock from all the teams.
Well, we'll see you in about 5 or 6 days.
Thanks.
Back at it.